Sad. I am very sad because I think we live in a country where we have too many people who smile in your face and talk behind your back, and when you get the story, it is never exact. They say they're friends, but they really are not because they're only out to try and get what you've got. And those are not my words. They are the words from an old record from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five called Survival. So, yes, for those who are bothered, I would say I'm sorry, first and foremost, to everybody who feels offended that a grown man has had carnal relations with a young woman who by law in our country is above the age to be lawfully married. To all those who are offended, I say I'm sorry. But for those who want to continue slaying, because somebody, a young man, not the lady, goes to a police station first, to Legon police station, not to Airport police station, to try and lie about you. And then he's told, but if that is the case, where is the victim?
Right.
And then he goes to another place to tell a different story and forces a young lady there who says, no, I have not been raped. I will not say I've been raped. I was not there, but there were people there. There was a station officer there called Ahiable and two others there who will still testify to this. If it got to court, all this would come out.
Yeah.
Let every man everywhere in the world know this. If you live the cleanest life or you live the dirtiest life, the one thing people can use to get you down and that you cannot do anything about unless it is tried and you are discharged is a lie of rape. Because it is a story that only two people can speak to.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, how come I get a bill of indictment that does not even have the statement of the one person who could say she has been raped? Of the one person who tells the police that, oh, after having sex with him from the front, I turned around and then I arched my back and wait a minute, if you're doing stuff willingly. Now, whilst people were seeking to destroy me, what hurt me is that people were seeking to destroy a young lady who had gone and done whatever she wants to do in private.
And I'd come talk about it in public.
And now are trying to use her to hurt somebody who is above them or who is the same as them or who is below them and trying to destroy her too.
Right. Anyways, I'll tell you something. This whole case has done its, runarounds in the court. I'm not going to hold brief for anybody.
It's discharged.
Yes.
And I am sitting down and waiting. You see, because you know how in the olden days they say, so be a biwa okana nukre. So before you die, you call your husband and you say, sweetheart,
I killed.
You're our second child. I had him with the driver. And as for our third child, I'm sorry. The man who you used to borrow money from is for him. Essentially, I have told my truth.
Yeah.
Those who still want to know, those who love me so much that they're so interested in the story, the records are public. You can go and look for the young lady's statement, which she was going to rely on in court, and look for mine too.
Right. Let me find out from you exactly, when all of this happened, when you had to go to the police station and you got to the point when you realized that, oh, I'm going to have to be in here for another day, another night. What went through your mind? How did you feel?
I felt ill. I felt numb. Because you see, there's only one truth. And when you're fighting the truth, you can get into a state of madness. I've been treated for depression for over a year.
Oh, wow.
Yes, clinical depression. And so when I look back on it, I nearly died on a plane when my blood... I was fortunate to have two doctors on the plane, one of whom was actually a doctor from the hospital where I had surgery on my knee in Kensington and Chelsea. And it was horrible. And that day when I came back, when I landed in Ghana, my lawyer had said, okay, see, some people say you shouldn't wear suits to court. I said, those are the only things I had. So Moody, my designer in Nigeria, who I'm a brand ambassador for, had brought me some clothes, and he had made one in short sleeves, and I hardly ever wear short sleeves. So I wore something short sleeve to court. And I'm surprised that one of your people chose to use that picture on the net today, but that's a subject for another discussion.
Exactly, Steve.
And I said, no, I'm just going to wear my suit to court. So I just picked one of my handmaids suit and wore it. And I said, look, whatever they want to do, they will do it. If it takes 20 years, the truth will come out. And once it does come out, those who are jumping on my grave, yeah, KKD is going to die. I'm so happy he's going to die. Now, if I die, how much money is it going to put in your pocket?
Yeah.
And then those who are saying, oh yeah, I believe it, I believe it. He's even gone out with me before. Where are you? I don't know you. I don't go out with the likes of you. You know, we don't even serve, you know, our dog food on faces like yours. It's worrying.
Yeah.
That
What went through your mind that day?
I was numb.
And
I think it's good that I was numb, because in my numbness, I didn't feel anything.
And you couldn't say anything either.
Yeah.
And for the number of days, you were in there for like 2 weeks, was it?
I was there for 19 days.
19, so over 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a couple of days.
And you know, what people don't understand is that in all those 19 days, all my good lawyer was doing was trying to get me bail. Because my knee got so big, I couldn't put trousers through it.
Sugar.
And the blood pressure was up, and there was fear I had a clot. So we were spending money to look after myself whilst I was there. So I was virtually going to the hospital and coming back every day. But you know, wherever you are, do the best you can.
Yeah. So how many, were there like a few people around you in that same cell, or you were just alone?
There were a lot of people, and I think it's also sad that the airport police station, which should be maybe the richest police station in the country.
That's what you think.
No, which should be. You know, I'm not saying the policemen there are rich. I know police salaries are not necessarily the best.
Yeah.
But if you look at how much it costs to get bail from there, for the number of people who go there, the conditions there are poor. I mean, you see, when somebody is there, detained not as a convict, but as an accused person. You see, an accused person is either guilty or not guilty. So if, Doreen, if somebody comes, well, in Ghana, the law doesn't say a woman can rape a man. It's only a man who can rape a woman, so it says. So if your girlfriend with whom you've had a relationship for 12 years finds out you intend to leave her and she has sex with you and she has your semen on her, and she goes to the police to say you've raped her, unless you have some ocular proof, or unless you get a good lawyer to let her show how she tried not to even be in that place, or how she tried to resist even having sex with you. Because the strongest muscles in your body are in your legs. And when you willingly sit on a sink and spread your legs, and after that bend over a sink and arch your back, and you're taller than the man, so your back is higher than him, because you're also in high heels, and you're willingly bending your knee, because unless a man has 12 hands, show me how. There's a bedroom, how you do that, especially also when there's two people sitting right in the next room and the bathroom doors have slats, not a slammed door. It's difficult. So my prayer, and I don't want to mention the lady's name because she has to be able to get on with her life. But can Ghanaians stop pretending that people above 18 years old in Ghana do not have sex? Let's cut the pretense already, because the law says at 18 you can be lawfully married. So I just don't understand it. And you know, there's one guy who bleaches his face, who pretends to be a lawyer, who just chooses to insult everybody, you know, who has some sort of a following. And you know, somebody saw him going into a hotel with some young girl, and it was one of my tailors. So my tailor says, look, you're talking about my brother, and here you are. And he was telling my tailor, oh, my son, so he said,
Salavi, but let me find out from you. Basically, all of this court cases and everything, actually, when...
There were no court cases.
No.
We were just fighting for bail.
Yeah.
That's all.
And basically, when the case was thrown out, how did that make you feel, and how have you moved on from that point?
I felt angry, but I was fortunate. My young daughter, and you know, she's a very mature young person, you know, she bought her own ticket and flew from London to come down because she said she wanted to accompany me to court. I remember the first time my son heard the case, he called me and he says, Dad, who's trying to blackmail you for money? You know, and she was there, so that was a good thing. And I was angry, but I was fortunate to have some good people around me. Dr. Lawrence Tete, God bless you. God bless you. And I want to say a very, very big thank you to Leslie Tex Boabasa as well. God bless you. Reverend C.C. Ellis, God bless you. Mayor Kojo Bonsu, Boating Jemfi, Pajima Jemfi, Kofi Bond of El Elyon Hotel, Nana Santibedi Etio, my brother. Love you to bits. And Dr. Lawrence Tete told me something which I will never forget. And I want to tell this to everybody. Whether you're hating on somebody or loving somebody, the message is for you too. Dr. Lawrence Tete says, Kwesi, I know how you feel. I know you will never be a violent person. I've known you since you were a boy. But there are people around you who may want to be violent and do things to others. Tell them all not to do so, because if they do it in your name. But also, I want you to have a forgiving heart. First, forgive yourself. Because no matter how you put it, you fornicated. So you still have to forgive yourself and seek forgiveness from God. Because you fornicated. If you have sex with any woman who is not your wife, you fornicate. But next, forgive everybody who tried to use this act to hurt you. Because in forgiving them, they will get their own comeuppance.
True.
Some of them
agree.
have died. Some of them have lost their jobs. Some of them are doing well. I will not say who is where.
Well, at the end of the day, what you did was to forgive them, which is definitely what is being preached in the Bible. That's what God says we should do. Before we go, let me finally ask you about how all of this has affected your brand and how you're, picking up and rebranding and moving on.
That is a question that my dear brother Nana Kwesi Suavakwe asked me at church. And I found the way it was reported quite interesting. Because, you see, if you have a brand, right, all you get is customers of that brand, well-wishers of that brand, and people who just will not buy the brand. It's either you buy Coca-Cola or you